What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 31 of Reezy Talks. This is the show where I talk, and today I am so lucky to have an awesome guest, host, interviewee on the show, Nicole State from StatesPlace. Everybody say hi to Nicole. And Nicole, say hi too.
Oh, hey guys.
How are you, Nicole?
I'm pretty good. I am echoing pretty hard, I think, though.
I just realized that your hair is purple and not blue. It's like...
I redyed it purple and pink like 2 weeks ago.
Much awesomeness. I legit wish that I could dye my hair like that. It just wouldn't be right.
You can do like your beard.
I don't live in Seattle. Actually, I only have like a limited amount of hairs left. I got to decide what to do with them wisely. Let's go over to the chat and see who we... Whoa, I forgot to mute my own show. I haven't done that for a while. Let's see who's all up in the chat. We got Zen Flips, April Bruce, Flip Stitch, Megan Flavius, Kim the OC Thrift Shop. I love Kim. Deanna Dunlap, Craft Reseller, Matt Thrift, Finders Keepers. We got a lot of resellers in the building. Thomas Brozowski. Is it Brozowski? I'm going to say Brozowski. How's everybody doing today? This is going to be a good interview. Make sure if you guys have questions that you hold them off until the end of the show, because the first section is going to be interview with Nicole. And then after that, we're going to do questions. And when you guys put questions in the chat, please put all capitals, question. Alternatively, if you want to make sure your question gets asked, you can go to my Instagram and post a question on my recent post. We got Hustler Hacks in the house. What up, Glenn? Interrupted my own self. But post a question on the Instagram, and then I will make sure that I answer that or have Nicole answer it or whatever. So questions for me, questions for Nicole. And first off, some of you guys probably don't follow Nicole or don't know who Nicole is. Like, I think that's pretty rare. Most of my followers probably follow Nicole, but just in case they don't follow you, Nicole, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and like where you come from? That's a sexy water bottle, by the way.
Hold on, let me just take a drink from this water bottle that I have. Cheers, Reezy. My Reezy. I have to take a drink because Joe yelled at me and said he's taking it when he goes to work. So I can only get one drink out of it on the show. Anyway, I'm Nicole State. I sell full-time on eBay. I also just launched a new business called StatesPlace, which is a monthly subscription box. I've been doing YouTube for a couple of years now. You can find me over on StatesPlace. I'm basically StatesPlace everywhere. I'm like your Reezy everywhere. I'm StatesPlace everywhere. And yeah, that's me. I sell full-time on eBay, and I do pretty good at it. I left my corporate job. It's been almost 2 years now. No, it has been 2 years now. That's crazy. It was 2 years. October 1st was my first day as a full-time reseller. And in the beginning, I was doing like, $2,000 a month. I was super proud of myself, flipping clothes from the bins. And now I average between like $15,000 to $18,000 a month in sales, which I know for Amazon people, that seems like super low. But for flipping eBay clothes, that's like a decent, that's a good number. That's a good, strong number.
Yeah, I think it's a solid number, especially considering your margin. And how many people do you have working for you? Like 0 to 1?
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. If you asked me that like 2 months ago, I would say that 1. But now I actually have 3 employees, and I have like a 2,000 square foot office. And I have just like a huge operation going on right now as we expand and grow in the future. So I'm super excited about where I am right now because I'm in the middle of this like huge growth period. It's very stressful. Like there's not a lot of sleep in my life right now. But it's like a really exciting time in my life.
What can you talk about one of those main sources of growth right now? The crates?
Yeah, so I launched a monthly subscription box. If you don't know what that is, there is a ton of them out there. They're pretty popular, especially with women. Even like they have geek ones like Loot Crate and subscription boxes that there's all different types. So I launched a used clothing one. and we are in our 3rd month now. We have about 500 subscribers, and we were picked up on by Forbes, so that really like boosted our numbers. We got about 300 subscribers in a week. Speaking of like social media and how important it is for your business, so I was picked up by Forbes because of YouTube, and it literally like launched us into the limelight like overnight.
That's so awesome. In case you guys don't know, a little while back, maybe what was it, like 6 or 8 months ago, me and you and Vogue Squared were featured in Yahoo News.
Oh yeah, that was really fun too, and that was because of Instagram.
Right. Pretty crazy, right? And
Yeah.
also along the same topic, I was featured in the Wall Street Journal, and that was also because of social media. So now I can say, as a public speaker, I can say, as an international public speaker, I can say featured in the Wall Street Journal and Yahoo News. And Nicole can say featured in Yahoo News and Forbes. Hello.
Yeah, it feels good. I also like to say that I was featured by eBay, that they came out to my house.
Oh yeah.
That was like a really big like turning point in my career. So just using social media to leverage my career I wouldn't be where I am without it.
You certainly wouldn't be on the Reezy Talks show.
No, we wouldn't be friends. How could that be?
Totally the highlight of your career. So what kind of volume are you doing with the States crates? Like, can you talk about how many active subscribers you have, or how many packages you're sending out a month, or like what is it? How many pieces of clothing do people get, and what does it cost, and
Yeah,
etc.
so it's actually kind of crazy right now. And I should make you a referral link. We have a referral program where if you refer your friends, if you refer 3 people, you get a free crate, and they get half off.
Speaking of friends, can we get some kind of Reezy Ninjas discount going for the States crates?
Yeah, I'll get you a coupon code for sure that you can put down below.
That's awesome. I only have a 40% female audience, but some of them might be interested in thrifting without thrifting, which is basically what States Crates is.
Yeah, it's fun. So they fill out this is what happens. You go on, you fill out a little like style quiz, and then we pack 4 items each month. Your first month is generally half off, so it's $15, and then after that, it's $30 a month plus shipping. Depending on where you are, most of the shipping is just $5. And it comes once a month. The first big month, it's been a little hectic. A lot of the crates were late, and that's all right. It happens. We have a lot better plan in place for next month. So we're already about halfway through with packing next month boxes. They go out between the 1st and the 3rd of the month. So we're like completely prepared for that, which is exciting. I hired a person who just packs boxes, and her background is in costume research for Hollywood. So she worked on she did The Dark Knight Rises and a lot of big films. So she moved to Portland to just kind of get out of the Hollywood, you get burnout, right? Like she's been in it all her life. Yeah. And so she came up here, and now she's just kind of like low key. So she's working for me now. So I feel like I have someone who's really, really good at what she does. And so she knows fashion, she knows design. So I'm not like, people are like, well, if somebody else is packing the crates, do I really want one? And I'm like, no, like she knows what she's doing. I didn't just pick up like anybody off the street to help me with this.
Right.
So yeah, it's been really good. I'm really excited about growing that side of it, but balancing eBay and balancing that has been a little bit of a challenge for sure.
I would imagine. How many subscribers do you currently have on the States crates?
We have 500, about 500, between 500 and 550 is what we average. We lose a couple each day. We gain about 10 to 20 every single day. So I'm forecasted to probably hit 1,000 active subs by the end of the year if it keeps going at the rate it's going.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did not expect it to be this big and this fast, but it's really exciting. I'm really, really excited about it.
That is so freaking cool.
Thanks.
I'm gonna have to start up my own subscription box for books. You guys want some books?
I know you need to do like kid books or something too.
Yeah, definitely have been thinking about it. Nicole just gave away my $1 million idea.
Well, no one can do it like Reezy does.
That's true. The funny thing is about like we have such a access to information in like this time and age. People have been trained to like not act on information. Like imagine back in the day when there wasn't information abundancy, like you would get a tip and people probably like ran off and executed on it right away. Whereas now people are just like, yeah, whatever, I'll look it up when I want to do it, and they'll never do it. They'll never look it up. Like you can literally give them the roadmap to success and they will not drive down it.
Oh, absolutely. People are always telling me, like, why do you give out everything? And I'm like, because no one actually has the ability to execute. I mean, everybody has the same information that I have. I just actually execute.
Right. That's crazy. Can you talk about how, like, you started eBay before you started social media, right?
Yeah, so I started eBay. I've been selling, I've been in the resale world for a long time. I managed like a kids consignment store, and then I kind of went into the corporate world. And, you know, I always sold like old things, you know, like my kids grew out of clothes, I'd sell them on eBay. Random stuff here and there, you know, that the average eBay seller.
Right.
And then I was like, wait, I could make a lot of money doing this. And so that's what I did. We moved into a new house, and it was double the rent that we were paying before. And we were like, well, how are we going to afford this place? And I was like, I'll do it by selling on eBay. And so we moved in, and I was like, wow, the only thing stopping me from making more money is my time. So if I didn't spend those 8 hours a day in a cubicle, I could spend it working on eBay, and then I would be making a lot more money than I'm making in that cubicle. So I gave my 2 weeks, I quit my job, and then I just made sure that I was dedicated. Like, I feel like the one thing that people don't do is they quit their job, but they don't realize they still have to work 8 hours a day. Like, you still have to block your time off, right?
Yeah, minimum of 8 hours.
I work a lot more than 8 hours a day, but like a lot of people don't realize, like, even though you work from home or whatever, you still have to put in those 8 hours, and they have to be very consistent, and they have to be like actual stretches where you're not like getting up and going and doing the dishes or going and doing something else every 10 minutes. Like, you have to work. I asked myself at the end of the day, would I fire myself today?
Damn.
Like, if I was my own boss, would I fire myself? Would I be like, oh, you didn't actually put in the hours, you didn't actually put in the work? Do I need to actually go back and have a boss because I can't control my own actions? Like, so I'm constantly thinking about stuff like that.
Wow. Sounds like your boss is a real slave driver.
I'm kind of a jerk.
No, legit. Like, I'm pretty intense myself too. So ask my family. I can be a jerk at times too. One of the things that I think you're known for is just like relentlessly listing a ton of items, like extremely fast. Like, can you talk about like some of like what's your average amount of listings in a day or per hour, and like maybe what is the most items you've ever listed in a day?
Oh, okay. Let's see. So the past couple of weeks, I haven't been doing a ton of work on eBay. But generally, I like to get a minimum of 50 items up a day, and I can do that by myself. If I push myself, I can get 100 items up a day, but that gets a little tricky if I'm doing it alone. I do have help now, though. So, like, I have someone who photographs for me or whatever. But if I'm doing it by myself, I need to get a minimum of 50 up a day. That includes, like, photographs. I can source, photograph, and list 50 items a day.
Wow.
So I can go to the bins for like 2 hours, get everything I need, go home. Photographing 50 items should not take more than an hour and a half, and then I can list the rest of the day.
So essentially, if you were to go for 8 hours, you could list 400 items. Not in a day, but I mean, if you're saying that you're getting 100 items in 2 hours, if you went all day, or they're probably open longer than that anyways.
No, 50, 50, 50. Let's say 50 like quality items, right?
Right. Awesome.
I could do like 50. So, but yeah, I mean, I can go to my bins are pretty good though. So I mostly source at the Goodwill outlet, and I usually leave with about 100
AKA the bins. In case you guys are watching and you don't know, the Goodwill outlet is referred to by the reseller community as the bins. So in case you don't know, because I know a lot of my audience is Amazon sellers or people that are new to the channel in general, the Goodwill bins is the Goodwill outlet. It would be great of you to go and look on Google and see if you have a Goodwill outlet near you, and then go check it out. Everyone is different, and the quality of items and just the whole way it works, operates, prices, it's going to be different everywhere you're at. But generally, the more affluent community that you live in or are near, the better the items are going to be. So I like to say rich people throw away good stuff. So just matters where you live and what. That's like, it kind of goes hand in hand with when you hear people say like, oh, not everybody's business model is going to work for everybody. And it's like, if I'm doing books because I have access to books, and you might not have access to books where you live because the secondhand market for books is not thriving where you live because people aren't buying books. There's not a lot of bookstores. There's no colleges, et cetera, et cetera. So find a business model that works for your area, or be prepared to drive, 2+ hours every day to go source. Like Secondhand Swagger drives, I think, like 2 hours a day to go source, because I think he lives in the country or something. But yeah, so either be prepared to drive or try and build a business model based around what you have access to. And apparently Nicole has access to a lot of good clothing at the bins where she lives.
Like a little tip here is that I'm echoing so hard right now, guys, sorry. But look, if you're selling on eBay and you're wondering what should I sell, you can search on eBay, you can search completed listings or solds, and you can search within like 50 miles of your zip code. And that is going to tell you what brands if you're looking at clothes, let's say, you can see what brands are actually in your neighborhood that you can find. And you can learn those labels and you can learn those tags. Not everyone has the same brands all across the US. Every section is going to be different. So anything in your niche.
So what you're saying is, sorry to interrupt you, but what you're saying is that you can gauge the availability of certain types or styles of clothing or items in your area based on what people are buying off of eBay, because that stuff is coming to your area, which means at least that stuff is there. But those people also like that kind of stuff, which means that's the kind of stuff they're buying in general. And then they're going to donate it.
Yeah, so you can actually see, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it could be electronics, whatever. I feel like it's a good way to gauge what's actually in your area, because if those sellers are in your area and if they found it, chances are you'll find it too.
That's huge. Yeah, I guess I didn't even think of it like that too. Oh, you're talking about what's being sold in your area, not what's being purchased in your area.
No, what's being sold, because
can you also look at what's being purchased?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be like the same thing, the solds, right? Like
no, it'd be like what's been shipped to eBay customers.
Oh, no, not anymore. You can't see that stuff anymore.
Yeah, because that's the other half of that. If you could combine those two data points, that would be huge. But still, what you're saying is even better than what I was thinking before. It means, like you're saying, yeah, people actually already found that stuff, which is huge. So, like, for example, if you look in your zip code, and I have a good access to books in my area. So if I look up just the word books and completed, I bet you there's way more, like the number of comps in my area versus, Alabama or something, somewhere like Midwest where there's not a high literacy rate. No offense to Alabama or anything. I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally, and you can do it in any category and see what kind of brands, what type of items people are picking up. Like, there's no excuses that you can't find things, because I guarantee you there's sellers in your area selling things, and you can literally see what those things are on eBay.
That's so huge. And then when you find, that's such a great tip, Nicole, because you could find sellers you could find the people that are selling in your area. Like, forget the one thing they sold. Look at their whole store. What have they been selling in general? Like, I don't know if a lot of my followers might not know this, but I started on eBay, so I came from eBay. And then when I discovered books and Amazon, I was just so busy, I didn't really look back at eBay. But to this day, I could spend my entire life looking on eBay at completed sales, just trying to find out what's worth money. And this is like a whole new angle to it. This is so fascinating to me, because you can not only find out what's worth money, but like multiply that by what's being sourced by other sellers in your area. And then when you start digging into their stores, you're digging into the stores of people that live right next to you, people that you might be elbow to elbow with at the bins, or that you see leaving your thrift store with arms full of stuff, you know? So
I follow
unless they're
all
hiding their solds, you know, you're going to be able to see them.
I follow all of the clothing sellers in my neighborhood, and I lurk them almost every single day.
That's huge. Do they know that you lurk them? Well, they do now.
Maybe. I'm just choking on my. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care.
Right. It's like free information, right? You can't stop us from looking at it.
It's like going into your competitor's store if you had a brick and mortar. You know, if you were, a bike shop, you'd go to every bike shop in town and see what they're doing.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. It's just like real life. Just like it's just like sending a mystery shopper to your competitors' stores, or, you know, if you want to open up this or that business, you probably want to go to the top 5 or 10 in America or in your region and check them out and see how, you know, go to the 10 best cafes and see why they're the 10 best cafes in America and take notes, and then go build your cafe.
Yep, exactly.
That is a huge, huge tip. I know you consume a little bit of content. I don't think you actually do. You read books or just listen to audiobooks?
I used to read a lot, but I just listen to audiobooks at this point.
Yeah, too busy, right?
Yeah.
I used to read also, and now it was mostly when I was in the bathroom, but that has been replaced with social media time. So what kind of audiobooks do you listen to? Like, what is the most recent one that you listen to? Like, who are some of your favorite authors that inspire you? I'm assuming they're going to be business or entrepreneurship based titles. Can you share some of that with us?
Of course, I love listening to Gary Vee. I try to listen to the Daily V every single day, and I'm super appreciative that he puts it into like audio. Like I love that he puts his content into audio format.
The Daily V is audio?
The Daily V is not, but I mean, in general, like I can listen to most of his stuff on audio.
But you do listen to the Daily V, like put it on YouTube and play it while you're working?
Yeah, I do that with like anything I watch on YouTube is usually just background noise.
Right. But you're listening to the Gary V audio experience. You were recently doing Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah, I love Grant Cardone. I think he's a little bit of a maniac, but I totally love him. And I think that I'm also a little bit of a maniac. And he was the first person who basically was like, no, that's cool. You can do that. It doesn't matter.
Right. Do you think that being a maniac is a requirement for being successful?
I think that you don't need to be a maniac, but you do have to push above and beyond.
Right. So at least one person, no matter what, is calling you a maniac.
Always. And I learned from him. I used to have a really hard time with like the haters and all of this. And the one big thing I learned from him was like, if you have 5 haters, you need to have 10. Like the bigger you get, the more you're going to have. And that's okay, because that means that you're growing. And so I love his content because it really touched me in a way where I got it. Like when he's saying like 10x and like go bigger. And I literally have used his content in so many ways that have, like, this week is coming up. I'm doing a lot of big things this week. You know what they are. I'm not telling everyone yet, but I can tell you that most of those things are only happening because I listened to Grant's book and I started emailing people and I started being like, hey, you need to let me do this.
Awesome. Just straight cold emails.
Just straight cold emails, straight being like, hey, well, or like people I had connections with, but I was afraid to reach out to, you know?
Let's just say, though, they're not as cold as they would be if you didn't have social media backing you up.
No, right. And it helps that I can be like, hey, look at this Forbes article.
Right, exactly. Hey, it's not just, hey, check me out, I'm the girl with purple hair. It's, hey, check out the impressions that I'm delivering on social media.
Exactly. Yeah.
How many impressions did you get last week on Instagram? I saw you posted that.
Sorry, my dog is losing her mind right now.
It's okay. It's real life.
Real life. A UPS truck is at my house, you guys. Dog is pissed.
That's the only time my dog barks too. Is I'm like, thank you for letting me know there was a package delivery.
And we get them every single day. I don't get it.
I'm literally boxed in right now with packages. So before the show started, dog barked, and I went and opened the door, and I just see you barely see the UPS guy leaving, and I'm literally like snowed in with UPS packages. Like I can't get out. I have to pull the packages in first.
He's not gonna like eat us. Why are you so angry? My dog is cute. Look at her.
What breed of dog is that?
She's a mutt. She's like a pug chihuahua.
It reminds me of the dog from Men in Black.
Yeah, she's totally like super ugly. That's why we adopted her. She used to have this like crazy underbite, but as she gets older, her tooth broke off, sadly. So she doesn't have it anymore. But we totally adopted her because she's like the ugliest thing in the world.
We love her.
Okay, Sophie, go.
So what were we talking about? I forgot.
We were talking about impressions and how many I have.
You had like 800,000, right?
Yeah, generally on Instagram in a week I'll get 800 to 1 million. I've hit 1 million a few times, and that always feels good. But 800 is generally like my base.
So me and Nicole were messaging earlier today, like full disclosure, we already talked about this, regarding the impressions thing. And I looked at mine, and I had 173,000 for the past week. And so I was looking at it, and I was trying to think, why do I only have 173,000, and why does Nicole have 830 or whatever thousand? And then I looked at the amount of posts in the last week. So in the last week, I posted 12 times on Instagram, which now that I say it out loud seems pretty shameful. And Nicole posted 50 times. What that breaks down to is I'm averaging like 1.4 posts a day, I believe, something like that. And Nicole was averaging 7 posts a day. So if you multiply, like if you do some math right there, you can see that I would have almost the same as Nicole. I would have like 780,000 impressions to her 830 with the same amount of posts, even though she has a much larger following than I do have on social media. What's your follower count at, Nicole?
I think I'm at almost 33.
33 or so, and I'm at like 25 something. But anyways, what that tells me is that the volume of posting is very, very important. A lot of people think that, like I know people that think posting one time a week on Instagram is okay. And I know people that think posting one time a day is okay. It's better than nothing. One's always better than zero. But I also know people that think posting 7 times a day is ridiculous. You're clogging the feed. You know, what the hell is your problem? But I think the reality is that you can and should post as much as your audience is willing to take. Like, as long as you can provide, like, don't post 7 pictures of your dog in a row. You know what I mean? But you can post there's no limit. There's no rules to social media. And anybody that tells you this is how you should do it, this is how many posts a day you should do, that's just complete bullshit, because there's no rules. There's no such thing really as a social media expert. I mean, people can call themselves that, and they can give you like expert level advice on certain things, but it's going to be different for everybody. And like, people are constantly like changing and upgrading the way they do it and coming up with new things. So as much, I think if there was a rule, it should be you should post as much as you can and continue to provide value to your audience, which you can tell based on the engagement of your posts, the likes, and if we're talking stories, you can see how many times people swiped away from your story and things like that. So really important, guys, to keep up the volume. And this is for whatever you're doing on social media, your personal brand. If you're running a company's page on Instagram, if you're building up a country music blog, or whatever the hell that you're doing, don't be afraid to post a lot. Like, I mean, definitely don't stop posting when there's no one even telling you you're posting too much. Like, that might be the first sign that you're posting too much, is if someone tells you that. But don't tell yourself that, right? Like, life is hard enough. Don't go to war with yourself. That's just ridiculous. So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts about that, Nicole?
I mean, I post a lot, and I think that sometimes I'm like, am I oversharing? But I don't think I am. I try and make sure that I post. So my goal, I know I've had a good day on Instagram if I get a post that has at least 1,000 likes on it. Like I like to try and get at least one that has 1,000 likes. The other thing is all of your followers do not see all of your posts because of the algorithms. So if I post 10 times a day, they may only see one post.
That's huge. That's huge. The algorithm is insane, guys. So I made an Instagram tips video maybe 6 months ago, and at least the hashtag strategy that I detailed in that video is probably not too relevant anymore. So I wouldn't say like 6 months ago, I would have told you to use 30 hashtags on your posts. Now I wouldn't tell you to use 30 hashtags because the whole Facebook algorithm kicked in on Instagram, and now there's shadow banning. And what a shadow ban is when you put, what up, Joe?
Hey.
You might post something. You're looking good in that blue and orange, bro. You might post something on Instagram and use 30 hashtags, and then your picture wouldn't show up in any of those hashtags. Like if you press that hashtag, your picture would not show up in the feed for that specific hashtag. It didn't hit that feed, and that's what a shadow ban is. So if you notice that you've been doing your Instagram the same way for a while, 30 hashtags, whatever, maybe even the same block of 30 hashtags, and you're not getting the engagement you used to get, it's probably because you're getting a little bit of a shadow ban going on. And there's tools you can use to check to see if your picture hit that feed for that hashtag or not, which is telling you if you got shadow banned or not. So what I think now is a better strategy for Instagram is just to use like 5 or 6 hashtags at the bottom of your post. Don't put them in the comment, in the first comment, like I used to tell people to do. Put them in the caption. Write your beautiful caption, hustle till your face falls off. And then in the bottom, put your 5 or 6 hashtags. And you want to use hashtags that you're going to be able to hit the top posts for, but not like the easiest one. Don't use a hashtag that only has like 100 posts on it, because of course you'll be able to hit the top, the latest top posts or whatever. Top posts on Instagram are the 9 pictures at the top of the screen when you click on a hashtag before you go under those to search through the rest of them in linear order. Those are the ones that the algorithm is saying is the most popular. Those are the ones that people who are digging in hashtags are going to see first. And that's how it's going to get delivered to your main stories, like suggestions or whatever on Instagram. And so you really want to try to hit those to get big engagement. And if you're lucky, it'll hit one of those. And then maybe a celebrity or someone with a lot of followers sees it and likes it. And then the algorithm will pick up on that even more. And then you can get a larger scope. So experiment with just using 5 or 6 hashtags. And then after you make your posts and you get your likes and your comments, go through and click on the hashtags that you use to see if you made it to the featured posts, because your goal should be to make your posts up into the featured posts.
I don't hashtag everything first off. And then
Nicole's big time.
What?
Nicole's big time.
Well, no, I just don't, because I feel like I post so many things every day. And then secondly, I just don't, sometimes I just rush post. Like I'm like, I'm gonna post this right now. I don't like have a strategic way that I'm posting.
Right.
And then, but I also feel like I know, and I should take my own advice here, is that I don't even want to use hashtags that I'm not gonna hit the top for.
Exactly. That makes a ton of sense. It's a waste. Pretty much.
It's literally a waste of those 5. So like I actually did hit the top for the 10x like Grant Cardone hashtag, and that was really cool.
For hashtag 10x?
Yeah, I hit the top
pretty
for
tight.
that.
Did that post get a lot of action because of that?
No, but he did message me, and that was cool.
That's nice.
Just things like that is like a nice, you just want to get in front. So here's the thing, like if you're trying to get in front of someone like Gary Vee or Hem or whoever you're trying to get in front of, start trying to get into their top hashtags, because they check those, or their social media person checks those. They want to know who's hitting those top hashtags and who their influencers are, right?
Definitely.
So if you're trying to get in front of somebody, try to use the hashtag that they're known for and try and really hit that top, and you're going to be able to get connected with people.
Also, get on their live streams. If you guys recall, that is how I basically got on Gary Vee's radar. Is if you've read my Crushing It article, which I posted today, Gary Vee shared my article that I wrote on his Medium Medium page, whatever you want to call it. Basically, Gary was doing a live show for the Ask Gary Vee book, I believe it was, and he was live streaming for 8 hours straight. He was on Facebook, Meerkat, and Periscope, and I believe I was on Meerkat because every other live stream you could get on, but you couldn't comment. It was locked out for commenting. But on Meerkat, there was a lot less users, so I could get on there and I could comment. And then there was like a moment, like literally 3 seconds, where he didn't know what to say or what to do. And so he leans over to look at the screen, which was broadcasting Meerkat. And I had my comment already copied and ready to paste. And I pasted it in there. And then he sees it, gets hyped, reads it out loud. And pretty much that's how Gary Vee learned who I was. I asked him if I could use that clip on my YouTube. He said, go for it. And then just from there on, I've been interacting with him. Like you say, using his hashtags, sending him messages. He eventually started following me on Twitter. We DM back and forth. It's mostly a one-sided conversation, but occasionally he'll send me like a one-word response here and there, which is awesome. But it's like if you want to get someone's attention, you can get their attention. You need to study them and figure out where the arbitrage is for their attention. Is it on their live shows? Is it their hashtags? Is it their YouTube keywords? Maybe they're using keywords on YouTube that you could use also to get your YouTube videos to show up alongside their videos. So a lot of ways you can do it, but
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to finish off with saying you have the same opportunity to get their attention as anybody else. I mean, aside from paying him $100,000 to get him to come speak at your event or whatever, you have the same opportunity to get his attention as anyone else does.
It's true. And all of this is like tying it into the show and reselling and everything. This is all part of growing your business. Like you have to have a social media presence if you want. I feel like it's almost necessary to have a social media presence in this day and age if you want to grow fast. Like I couldn't have done everything in 2 years that I've done if I didn't have a social media presence.
Right. So speaking of social media, let's talk about one of your friends, Tony. She has a baby clothing store, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like kids or babies?
Yeah, it's like children.
Store?
Yeah, children's consignment.
They buy from resellers also, which is pretty cool because my wife does that too. She'll grab some clothing from the bins or whatever and then take it into the kids store, and just like a quick way to make some money without having to, photograph and list everything. And also some of the stuff they buy is stuff that you can't really sell on eBay because it's just like, $8 or $10 items. But when they give you $1 or $2 for it, that's totally worth it if you have a whole trash bag full of them.
Yeah, totally.
But I seen something that she posted recently that was interesting to me. I'm getting to the social media tie-in. Give me a second. She was saying that she posts on Facebook Marketplace when she gets items into the store. I don't know if she posts everything, probably not everything, but some stuff. She posts it to Facebook Marketplace, I'm assuming via her personal Facebook page, but she's sponsoring the posts that she's putting on Facebook Marketplace, and then they're getting delivered to only the people that live in her local area that can make it to her store. And apparently she does a pretty good amount of business through posting on Facebook Marketplace and then sponsoring those posts to the local audience.
Yeah, she's really crafty like that. So she uses like all the mom groups and the Facebook Marketplace, and she's like a part of all of them, and she definitely uses them to her advantage to get people and traffic into her store.
That's awesome. She's also really nice. I met her in Chicago.
She's super nice.
What's her Instagram, by the way? Let's give her.
It's Tony Thrifts.
Tony Thrifts. Toni Thrifts.
Mm-hmm.
Just one word, right?
I think so. I'll tag her. But she taught me everything, you guys. Like she taught me how to do eBay, and I worked for her for like 8 years. I learned how to sort clothing and go through things, and everything I know is literally because of Tony.
So before that, you didn't know anything about selling clothing?
No, none.
Wow, that's awesome. Shout out to Tony.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tony.
One time. She's like the godfather, except for the godmother.
Something like that. Yeah, she's like the best though. I love her, and her mom basically like took me in and taught me everything I know, and they don't get mad that I'm selling on eBay now, you know?
They
Like they're
don't
just like,
get mad, thank God.
yeah.
Life's too short to get mad at people. So who is there any like specific people like that are doing, like, who do you look up to and admire in business world lately? Like, is it, I mean, this is kind of similar to the question about like who do you listen to or whatever, but like who do you think is killing it right now? Like, who would you like, you know, in your best world scenario, you'd be like Elon Musk or um I don't know. Help me out here.
I don't know. Look, I don't pay enough attention to what other people are doing as I should, to be
That's
totally honest with you. Like, I don't have some sort of idol, or if I do have an idol, I usually just like try and befriend them, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't have someone out there that I necessarily look up to. Grant Cardone the last few weeks has been like a very positive influence in my life. But as far as like a business, like I always follow the big stores on eBay. I try and see what they're doing. I try and see if I can use any other business models in my business model. But for the most part, for me, I just do like trial and error over and over. Like I fail and I get back up and then I fail again. Like every day I fail at something and then I learn from that and I get back up and do it again. I don't necessarily have any sort of like idol, or I think that's silly in life to like have a, your idol should be yourself, you know, like you're only trying to please yourself and like do things for yourself.
Write that one down, guys. That's going to be a quote for the show. You should be your own idol. That's sick. So let's take it back to the listing scenario. What kind of advice can you give people for listing fast and efficiently on eBay? Like, let's just assume you're doing it by yourself. What is the fastest like workflow method to getting like 100 items listed a day? What does that entail?
Okay, here's the number. You want to know what the number one thing is that people are doing wrong?
Yes.
They are spending too much time researching.
Oh, I got it. That's a lot of time for sure.
They're spending too much time researching, and they're too worried about getting top dollar that they're spending so much time that they're losing money. And that might not make sense unless you actually think about it. But
Right.
say you're going to make more money if you get 50 items listed than if you get 20 items listed and you get top dollar for all those $20 items, because you're spending people. So I am doing like a mentorship, and I have on my questionnaire, like, how much time are you spending? Like, what is your listing process? And all of them are saying that they spend the majority of their day researching.
Wow.
And you are losing money when you're spending that much time researching, because what are you gaining? Maybe $5 to $10 more than you think it's worth.
Right.
So just put it at a price that you think is, you know, go and look at the solds, get a good idea, and then put it at a price that is, you know, market friendly, and get it out of your store.
Right. And basically the reason you bought it is because you already did some research while you were at the store, or you felt confident enough to buy it anyways. So either A, run off your research you already did, which could mean that you're not good at planning and like you didn't screenshot the sold when you looked at it before or whatever, or like B, you just not confident enough to trust yourself to list it for, like you said, like who gives a crap if you sell it for $8 or $12, because you'd rather sell 50 items for $8 than, I mean, my numbers could be wrong here, than sell, 20 items for $12.
People are so afraid of missing out. It's literally like FOMO of listing. They're so afraid that they're going to list an item for $50. So my friend texted me last night. She sold something for $50 within 5 minutes. And she's like, you did this the other day.
I did. I'm guilty.
The Robert Graham. This is a different person though. And they were like, I listed this too low. There wasn't any comps, and I just put it up. It sold within 5 minutes. And I was like, did you, or did you list it the right price? And then someone bought it.
That's true. It's definitely the right price. I would say if you don't have evidence that that person resold it for higher money, then you probably listed it at the right price.
Yeah, and even if they did, if you got what you wanted out of it, like, let it be. Go reinvest that money, buy something else, and get it listed.
Don't be greedy. I tell people that all the time. Like, don't be greedy. Like, people ask me, they're like, well, I got this for $2, but I see comps. I'm like, dude, like, who cares? Like, you could hold it in your store for 9 months and maybe sell it for that. Or you could sell it in 30 days or less, listing it for, 25% less. And a lot of people get caught up with this. And like, I mean, I'm a fan of the long tail sell myself because I usually get items for extremely cheap. And I also don't have to store them myself because I send them to FBA. But the reality of it is especially if you're starting your business, you need to roll that cash over. You need to roll your dice as many times as possible. So like, let's just say like your money is like dice rolls and you only have 5 of them, do you want to like roll the dice and like wait 9 months to be able to roll those dice again? Or would you rather have sell it for a loss to get your dice back so you can re-roll? Because in those 9 months, what if you could have rolled those dice 10 times? And how many of those 10 dice rolls would have worked out to be, good sales for you? So it's like, would you want to make one sale for like the highest it's ever sold for, or would you rather make 10 sales in that same time period at 70% of the highest sale price? Because we all know that the 10 sales at 70% is 700%, and you're only going to make 100% over 9 months, which is ridiculous.
Exactly. And people cannot grasp that, though. There's something about resellers where they just like,
we're cheap.
I know, but like, everyone else is cheap too. No one wants to pay top dollar for anything. Like,
right.
That's coming on eBay. Like, just get it out the door. And the other thing about resellers is that we're constantly breaking it down. They always want to know exactly what you made on one item. And it's like, who cares? What did you make at the end of the month? What was your profit off of everything?
Right.
Like the one item breakdown drives me a little bit nutty because I think that's looking through like
you want to know what drives me nutty? It drives me batshit when people are like, you forgot to take taxes out.
Oh my God.
To take fees out. Or here's the one that makes me want to punch people in the throat. Literally. And I'm a small guy. People will be like, when I'll have a sick haul and I'll be like, yeah, this is like 500 profit. And they'll be like, it's not profit until it's sold. That's potential profit. You have to say potential. It's like, I don't have to say anything. I'll say whatever the hell I want to. You'd have to be a fool to know that it's not potential profit. Everybody knows. Trust me, if you hear me, see me type or say potential profit, that's a joke. I'm doing that to take a stab at the haters because obviously it's potential profit. Nothing is realized until you actually sell it. But assuming that you are going to sell it, you make the money when you buy. That's why everybody knows that the very first thing that you should do when you start getting successful in your reselling business, as far as hiring help, is hiring someone to help you ship orders so that you could focus on buying. Because if you're packing orders and you're like, man, I have to pack orders for 8 hours today because I have 100 orders to get out, and that means I can't go shopping to buy stuff. You're losing money. You're not at the store buying stuff. So it's like, come on, guys. It's all potential.
At this point in my career, my goal is to only be sourcing.
Exactly. Because that's the one thing that requires the most skill. Mm-hmm. Everything else is just like super systematic. Like, there it is. Look it up, list it, take a photo. Like, okay, so back to like the whole like listing process and how I get it done quickly. The key here is having good, what's that word I'm looking for? But having knowledge.
Good, no, not knowledge, but having good practices in place, right? Like you have the same.
Talk about those practices.
Yeah, so I basically look at it like will you mute yourself really fast? Oh, this is like. Okay, there we go. So you have to have an assembly line, I feel like. So you really break it down like, okay, so first you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then this, and then this. And so you do the same repetitive motion over and over and over again. And you don't, you try to touch things the least amount possible, Now I think I messed up Reezy's chat, you guys. I muted him.
What? Why did you mute me, bro?
I was trying to get the echo to go away, so I muted you and then unmuted you to try and get that echo to stop.
Did the echo? Was there an echo?
Yeah, it stopped though when I did that.
Hold on a second. Let's hit the chat. Are you guys hearing an echo? Because I'll plug some headphones in real quick. I'm sorry. Hold up.
I messed up Reezy's whole system here, guys.
It's all good. We have technology, and we will adjust. Hold up. 2 seconds here. Boom. Boom. Okay, so the echo should be gone now.
Yeah, it's all gone.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for the echo. Why didn't you
my
tell
fault.
me there was an echo before?
Maybe I was just hearing it. It's just me. I'm broken. But anyway,
no,
so
there was an echo. I'm seeing it in the chat. I'm sorry about that, guys. You guys got to let me know, man. Dang. I thought we were boys, yo. Jeez. All right, so let's go back to your talk about how I love my new microphone stand, by the way. How did I can lean back against the wall? It's great. So if someone did want to get 100 items listed a day, what should they do?
Well, you should have good procedures in place. So look, the first thing you want to do, let's say you bring your clothes home from the thrift, right?
Bag of clothes.
Let's say you got a big bag of clothes. You got to sort it by like items. So you got to sort it how you're going to take pictures of it. So let's say like all of your button-down shirts, you want to have everything similar of how you're going to put it on your mannequin or how you're going to flat lay it, however you're going to photograph it, right? All the similar stuff in piles. And then you do one pile at a time, and you should have it completely ready. Like when you are prepping takes the most time, or it should take the most time.
Like because by prepping, you mean like button up all your shirts, smooth out the wrinkles, etc.
Yeah, making sure it's 100% ready to be photographed.
Okay.
And by like item, and then you just start doing it. And when you start photographing and it's already prepped, it goes so fast. It can take me 1 to 2 minutes to photograph something because it's like boom, put it on. Click, 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 click of the camera as my I have my mannequin on a rotating base. Mannequin rotates. I take my pictures. Then I pull the item off.
Do you have removable arms on your mannequin?
I have, yeah, they're magnetic. So it goes.
Is that a major key, removable arms, specifically the magnetic ones?
Yeah, magnetic arms are super key. And I have a little metal rolling rack from IKEA right next to my mannequin. So I only have to move my arm a little bit to like put the arm down.
Nice.
So everything, also your body and like where your body is super important. I've realized like you need to make sure you can reach everything and that you're not taking steps constantly, because even taking like 1 or 2 steps every minute, it's going to add up at the end of the day.
Yes, you must be a student of Henry Ford and watch the McDonald's movie with Michael Keaton if you want to learn about doing stuff fast. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, that's super good. And I was like it's really relatable as far as how I run my business, because I do the same thing. So everything is like very much an assembly line at my office.
You make burgers in your house?
No, but I make clothing.
You make money burgers.
I make money burgers. So yeah, so then I just, everything gets photographed. And then when you're listing, it also makes it easy because you can just start doing like sell similar. So you list, let's say you're listing a pile of tank tops, you put the info in, you finish it, you sell similar, you put the info, like, you're not having to change every single thing.
Right. And that's also key because when you're listing, I feel like I have an echo now, but when you're listing like, all jeans, there's some keywords or in your title and in your listing that are going to be similar. Like even for example, let's say like you have 100 pairs of jeans to list and 100 shirts, 100 whatever, like make sure you have all your jeans together and then also by brand as well. So that when you photograph all the Levi's in order, so that's just one less word to change for 20 listings.
I actually,
listing them.
I disagree with that.
Damn.
I know. And this is why I think you should do it by size.
Okay.
And here's why.
Oh, for the drop-down menu, less drop-down menu changes.
No, well that, and check it out. When people are searching in your store, so let's say I run like a buy 2, get 1 free promo because I want to, upping my cart size is super important to me, like getting people to buy more than 1 item at a time. So when they go into my store, let's say that they have it searched by like newly listed, all the mediums are together, all the smalls are together, all the larges are together. And so maybe they want to buy 2 pair of jeans, both
And that is
sizes
the
are right
default
there.
display method for eBay, correct?
Um,
Newly listed?
it depends on how you have it defaulted, but most people default or go to that.
Right. Like if
Or
you don't
part.
have anything set up when you look, it's probably like recently listed, right?
I think so. I know I have my store defaulted to do that when people come to it. So if you have a store, you can set your defaults to however you want them. So when people come to my store, it is automatically defaulted that way. I don't know what eBay's automatic default is, but for my store, I know it's defaulted that way.
Right. That's a huge tip. That's huge tip number 2 for this broadcast, guys. Increase your amount of units sold per customer by listing items in order of what might be desirable to that specific customer, which is going to be sizes. So does that mean that you're going to list all of the jeans that might fit this person, and then you're going to switch to shirts that might fit that person as well?
That's the goal. And if that hasn't been happening, like people are going to go to my store and be like, you're not doing this right now. I'm not doing it right now because I've been refocusing on the crates, but that is like the goal always, is to have it that way.
That's amazing. I can't believe I didn't know that. That's a
And
huge
also,
tip.
like, you need to make sure that you're running promotions. So there's a lot of promotions you can do now. And I learned this from eBay. Like, you need to be running promotions that promote your cart size to increase. So you need to be running promotions that are like, buy 2, get a percentage off. Buy 2, get 1 free. Buy 3. Like, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're really, increasing the cart size is a really easy way to get a better conversion rate and get more sales in your store.
And so, wow. Can you talk a little bit about the promotions? I'm totally not an eBay expert, but didn't the promotions thing just change recently, or
Yeah,
what's
so they
going on with eBay promotions? Because I hear you guys talking about it like endlessly.
yeah, people get too upset about things when they change. That's like my feeling about it is, look, we sell on somebody else's marketplace. If they're going to change things, like, get with the program and just stop complaining, because they're not going to go back, right? Like, it is what it is. Everyone's upset because they kind of took away the markdown manager, which you can mark down, like, let's say 30 or 40% in your store all at once, things like that. So now they have where you can do like sell events or promotions, where you can do very, very similar things, but you can actually do more now. And I feel like it's way easier. And I don't know why people are upset. Like, I haven't grasped why people are upset about this change, but basically you can run promotions like that. So you can run discount promotions, you can run all different types of promotions. And eBay is cool because they actually, when you start to go into your promotions, they say like, well, what are you trying to accomplish with this sell? Are you trying to, there's like a list of like 4 different things. I forget off the top of my head, but what are you personally accomplishing with this sell? And then you click one and they give you suggestions, and you should listen to this because they've done the market research. No one ever wants to listen. They say, oh, they're against me. Why would they be against you? Like, why would they be against you?
So is the major thing that changed is just that instead of doing Markdown Manager, now you have to run it as a promoted listing?
It's not a promoted listing, it's like promotion. So promoted listings is a whole nother thing. Promoted listings, you can actually pay to get your stuff, just like an Instagram feed.
And that's what you do use that, correct?
Sponsored post. Yeah, I do. And I actually max it out.
And so that's actually what I was getting at and what I wanted to talk about. Is that new for eBay, or because, I mean, you recently started doing it, right?
It's not new for eBay, but it is new for people who sell like one-off used clothing items. So
okay, so before you couldn't have sponsored posts before.
You could have sponsored posts for multiple quantity items, and then spring they changed it to where you could have posts for singles, but only in certain categories. And then in the fall, they pretty much opened it up to everything. So now I'm able to do them because I mostly sell one-off used clothing, and now for the first time.
And that's a game changer, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, if you maxed it out, there's a reason why you maxed it out. You're not just giving eBay money for nothing, right?
Yeah, so it was a game changer the first few weeks that it was happening, and I got a ton of sales those first few weeks, like
Probably because
thousands.
not everybody else was using it, but then most people caught on to using it, and so now everyone's using it.
Right,
And
and so
so
I
if you're not using it at all, you're probably seeing a decline in sales.
absolutely.
If you were previously, you have a large eBay store, you're making good sales, let's say 100 a day, and now you don't know why for the last 2 months you're only making, 40 sales a day. It's probably because you're not promoting your listings.
And a lot of people feel like it's really unfair that eBay did this and that, it's kind of ruined eBay, but check it. eBay took away third-party ads. And so they have to replace that with something, right? So
Meaning what? Like no ads for like video, like random websites advertising on eBay?
um right, so like Target could advertise on the bottom of your post. Say you're
Okay.
selling a Target dress, they could advertise their dresses on the bottom of your post with their prices and everything,
And where
right?
do these promoted listings show up? Do they show up in the bottom of a listing when someone's looking at a listing? Similar listings that are promoted show up in the bottom of it, or how does it work? I
No,
know how
they
it works on
show up
Amazon.
in um they show up in the feed. So they show up in the actual feed of eBay. And
Okay,
there's a
so
lot
just
of
like Amazon, it shows up in the feed and it probably says like sponsored really small and it probably looks just like a regular result.
right, and it says sponsored on the ad or on the
Right,
feed.
but if you're not paying attention, it just looks like it's one of the results for your search.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the chat right now. I just want to point this out that says that um using promoted sales doesn't hurt, and they took their promotions off and they're making more sales. So I mean, yeah, that's the other thing is like I don't like I give people information that I use on YouTube, but I'm not an expert or like some sort of guru. I'm just a person who's I'm telling you what I personally do and what I personally seen results from and what I think, but I don't work for eBay. I don't know exactly how everything works.
Right, exactly. I tell people the same thing all the time. Like I can tell you how I do it and like I can help you with stuff, but it might not work for you, especially if your brain doesn't work the way that my brain works, like everyone's different. Everyone has to figure out, what's worth their time, what are they willing to do or whatever, but um obviously everyone's not going to have exactly the same results. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Ken.
Try not to interrupt you. The bees in here. We're still
Ken,
on. That race is still on for $1,000 a day, and I restructured my store, so I'm gonna hit
is it?
that pretty quick.
Oh, that is the Hustle Bee. I was like, who the hell is Kenneth Gaetano?
It's a hustle bee.
Oh, what's up, Hustle Bee? Thank you so much for the super chat, Hustle Bee. I appreciate you, bro. I will use that to buy you a beer when I meet you in person.
When
So
he
you're
comes
gonna
to
get your
Portland.
you're gonna get your $10 investment back. um, God, I got thrown off. We were saying about I was gonna make a comment about how someone said that they take the listings off or the promoted and they're selling more or it doesn't matter to them or whatever. I would assume that depending on what category you sell in and what items you sell, it would be different based on, your competition, because I would assume if, for example, you sell only Levi jeans and everyone else is sponsoring their post for Levi jeans, then that's going to hurt you if you're not doing it. But if you sell, let's say, Lucky Brand jeans and no one else sells Lucky Brand jeans, then you obviously don't need to sponsor your post because you're the only person in that little niche of Lucky jeans.
Bargain Shopping sent you a super chat earlier, so shout out to her.
Oh my God, how did I miss that? Did you see
um,
that and let me miss that? Jeez.
well, the other thing is like you can see. So let's say let's say there is only 5 items. Like let's say it's some rare designer, there's only 5 of them listed. You don't need to use promotions, right? Like that's not a saturated market. It's for people like me who I sell in a saturated market. Like that's all there is to it. So I need to do everything I possibly can. Zen Flips, wow, Reezy. Oh, you're buying me
Jesus.
a drink.
What kind of drink? You drink coffee, you don't drink beer.
I know I drink coffee.
Oh, money everywhere. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the super chat, because as much work as eBay is, like if I get two $10 super chats on a video, that's like more money than I would make on an average video in a month anyways. So It's awesome. I appreciate it. And I promise I'll never like put my videos out where like you got to pay $2 to watch them, because you could do that.
Sean Saunders, I think I'm saying that right. He actually, you sent him to me. I owe you. Sean came to me and signed up for a mentorship because of you, and he's in the chat right now. So thank you, Reezy, for that.
Yeah, how awesome is that? Nicole said that Sean went to sign up for a mentorship with Nicole through finding her through me. And Nicole just asked me, hey, Reezy, what's your PayPal? And of course, I just give, if you ask me for my PayPal, I'm giving it to you. I'm not even going to ask you why you want it. Like, it's like, here, let me put something in your wallet. I'm not going to ask you why, you know, like, and then she was like, oh, it's a referral for referring me a customer for the mentorship. And I was like, oh, you're so sweet. Like, thank you. So
You should always do the right thing, you guys. That's the other thing about like this, like social media is like, just always do the right thing. You know, like if you're making connections with people and they're helping you out, you know, do the right thing.
yeah, definitely. I have a student, a mentoree. His name's Gabriel Diaz. He's 16 years old. He's in 10th grade. His Amazon is on pace to do $50,000 a year. He's probably making more money than his parents are making, and he's crushing it. And the way that he's doing it is because he developed relations with several of the local thrift stores to where they hold the goods for him before he comes in, and they let him know, hey, we got this in or that in. And the other day he told me, he was like, dude, I'm so excited. They texted me and told me there's a whole bin of Super Nintendo games. And then he went in and got to buy all of them for like $2 a piece. We're talking like Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Country, Mario All-Stars, et cetera, like tons of good games. And he made a lot of money off that. And I was like, you better bring him some donuts. And he was like, you know it, man. So apparently, you know, he took my advice a while back, and he brings them like donuts or coffee every once in a while. And like, imagine how that makes you feel as like an employee at a thrift store. You're probably not getting paid a lot. You're dealing with basically like trash all the time. And like customers treat you like crap. There's like psychopathic customers. And then like, here comes in like this super awesome kid, and he's just smiling and bringing you donuts and coffee. Like, of course you're going to be best buddies with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay you to be my friend, but you know,
I do accept donuts and coffee though.
you do accept donuts and coffee.
I want one of, if I ever come to visit you, I want to go to that place where you get donuts at.
Dough is like my hero. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I haven't been in a couple months. I've been so busy. It's stupid.
It's like a specialty donut shop, yeah?
Yeah, but it's like super in the hood too, which is kind of crazy. So, but the donuts are, it's vegan, but that doesn't matter. Like, who cares? The donuts are just legit, and they kind of taste more like a, almost like a, what are those things you get at fairs, and they're like circles, and they look like
Funnel cakes.
like a funnel cake.
Nice. I love all kinds of delicious treats.
I love treats so much.
Treat life. Let's talk about, like, here's one question that I want to try and ask everybody. If you had a time machine and you could go back in time and talk to yourself when you first started selling on eBay or when you first started social media, pick one of the two, and you could only tell yourself like one tip, what would it be?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm debating about which one I want to share.
You could do both. I don't care.
Okay, well, I think the social media one is that you never know, like, how I had no idea how a big, I guess, like, big in our genre or like our niche, but like I'm not that big in like the real life scheme of things, but I never knew how big I was going to be. And I would have changed how I portrayed myself in some aspects. Like, I'm very real, but I also think that people think that I'm nicer than I actually am. And I wish that I would have put that out there from the beginning, that I'm not always like a very, like I'm very blunt. And I wish I would have been more blunt in the beginning. So like realizing that how you portray yourself is really important, you know? Like I can't cuss on my show at all because I portrayed myself from the very beginning as not cussing. And so now if I let something slip, I feel super bad about it. And you have to realize, like, however you start portraying yourself, that's who people are going to expect you to be forever.
Shit, that sucks.
You know what I mean, though? Like, do you see what, like, my point?
You can cuss on my channel all you want. I don't believe that. I believe that it's 2017 and cussing doesn't really matter so much anymore. Like, people don't like. The only downside is that if you are watching this with kids, like you're absorbing your Reezy Resells fix and you have your kids in the room, like, I'm sorry, children, it's the real world. Like, at least I'm not doing it in like a hateful way, and like I'm not being vulgar, right? That's most important for me, I think. I have kids too. I cuss around my kids as well. But, I just teach them to not like, I'm not using it in a vulgar way or a negative way or towards someone specifically. It's just like, I don't know. I think people care less. Like, I've seen like articles published by big like Wall Street Journal or New York Times that used words that I wouldn't even use, like so I just think it's a sign of times. Like, people don't really care so much anymore. Like, at one point in time, people thought it was rude to wear hats inside of a building. So times change, right?
Yeah. And yeah, but I guess that's like my one thing is like, just realize you never know. Everything you put out on the internet is there forever, and to be aware of that in the very beginning.
Right. Gary Vee says the same thing about cussing. He's like, yo, I cuss like a sailor. I always have. He's like, I used to catch flack for it. If you don't want to follow me because I cussed, like, that's cool. I respect that. But, it probably wouldn't work out for us together anyways. And what else does he say? He's like, oh, if I had to filter myself, like, that'd be too hard to remember. Like, turn it off, turn it on. Like, you know what I mean? Turn it off, turn it on. Like, forget that. That's just too much work.
Yeah.
So let's go on to your time machine tip for reselling. What would that be? Like, what is that one tip you think you could give yourself if you traveled back in time to the day you started reselling? What is that one tip you could give yourself that would make you be much more successful now?
I would just remind myself that it takes time. So you're not going to be able to just start eBay and list 50 items a day, and that everything takes time and to have patience, and that you are going to get to where you want to get, but it's not going to happen overnight. Because I'm a really impatient person and I want things to happen immediately, but the good things don't happen immediately. Like, they take time. And so I think I would go back in time and remind myself, like, it's okay that you're only doing 20 listings a day. Just make sure that I was really hard on myself for a long time. And I think I would just tell myself to not be so hard on myself, because everything will come with time.
Nice. With that, let's go into some questions. Are you ready for some questions? We'll probably do like 20 minutes of questions or something, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
From Hardstyle Merchandise on Instagram, they said, hi, Reezy and Nicole. What apps do you use to create content for your Instagram mainly? Nicole, I don't think you use too many apps, do you?
No, I don't use any.
You're like raw. You're like raw AF.
I am super raw, and I want to not be, but then I just don't have time to like learn new things, which is super bad. I do use that one you told me where you can put the like words on your screen.
Oh, the Apple Clips app.
I do use Apple Clips from time to time, but aside from
that's a good one.
I don't use anything. I don't use filters even half the time. Like, I just take a picture and I put it up. Here's the thing about my Instagram.
It's not strategic.
Not zero strategy behind my Instagram. Is very real. Like, super, sometimes too real to where I'm like, ooh, I need to take that down because
you're like, oh, butterfly, and then you post it.
Yeah, no, literally.
Okay, sweet. So just to go over the Clips app, that is a iPhone-only app made by Apple. And what that app allows you to do is you can record clips of yourself, and it will automatically put subtitles on the screen, which is very huge because if you're delivering a certain type of content that would be useful to listen to on its own, then you might as well use clips on it and add the subtitles, because a lot of people are consuming content in areas where they can't turn the volume up. They're in class, they're in school, they're at a concert, they don't want to put headphones in. If your content comes up on their screen and it's audio based with no subtitles, it gets skipped. But if you would have had subtitles, they would have stayed on your content and absorbed your message. So just know that if you're delivering content that has an audio element, like speaking engagement wise, that you're losing viewership if you don't have those subtitles. And I don't have the statistics on it, but I'm sure you could find them. And I would say you probably get at least 10%, maybe 20% increased engagement rate, maybe more on a clip if you have subtitles on it.
I do, and I know my engagement is huge, and a lot of it is just comments of people saying like, wow, this is cool that you did this.
Yep, definitely. Because you guys know how on Instagram, like when you're scrolling through your feed, it doesn't play the sound on a clip unless you press the volume up button or tap the clip or whatever. So there you are absorbing it without having to tap on it. And it's like, it's chill. Like, however painless you can make it for people to absorb your content, that's what you want them to do. If they could absorb your content with no clicks, that's amazing. If they can get to your offer or get to your thing with one click, it's amazing. It's why the reason why likes on a photo or a video on Instagram is not a good way to measure. I mean, it is what it is, but like I would rather have 100 comments than 100 likes any day, because comments mean that people had to put both hands on their phone, not just one. And they also probably had to actually watch the content and think about it and come up with an original thought, because it's hella easy to just scroll through your feed and like photos. I do it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so comments over likes any day. Apps that I actually use a decent amount of apps. So one thing I like to do is I like to use Snapchat because they have the built-in Bitmojis, and then you can use those to put on your content. And now they have the like virtual reality or augmented reality Bitmojis. So like recently I posted a clip to Instagram and it said, you know, my laptop is an ATM, and like whatever I wrote, long form comment, and it had my Bitmoji like throwing money out, and he was standing on my keyboard on my laptop. And I was ranting about how you can make money on the internet with your laptop or whatever. So it was super relevant. But that augmented reality emoji clip is like what made it pop. And I got like a ridiculous amount of engagement on that. Like people messaging me like, this made my day, or can I repost this, or like whatever. So using little tools really helps you. One thing I really like to use, and this is shout out to Watch Me Amazon. He actually taught me something about social media. He showed me this app called Cut Story, which Cut Story is a great app. It's only 99 cents. It's free, but it has its logo on the output if you don't pay 99 cents. And what it does is you load a video clip into Cut Story, and then you like press Instagram or press Snapchat, and it will chop that video up into 15-second pieces or 10-second pieces, and then save them to your camera roll with one click. So what that means is you could edit a really nice video in like portrait mode or whatever, like really nice produced content, like a 2-minute long video. And then you can throw it into Cut Story and chop it up, and then add it one clip at a time to your Instagram story, and it will be seamless. Like literally, trust me, if you do that, people will message you back and be like, how did you do this? Like, how did you do this?
What? I need to do that.
Yeah, see, which means you're getting people's attention. To edit video on your phone, I like to use an app called Video Shop. It's a orange icon, Video Shop. The reason I really like Video Shop is because it supports portrait style video editing, which is huge because that allows you to make good content for your Instagram stories and your Snapchat stories, which is super key. And I have like a video on YouTube, how to make engaging story content or whatever. I forget what it's called. I'll link it down below. But it shows you how I made an ad for a shirt that's like it slides into the thing, and then I have music playing and everything, and it slides out, and then the Reezy Resells logo slides up. The bottom line is when you put super highly produced content in your story, it stands out and it looks really, really nice. So it's always nice to use tools to your ability. I have a little bit of a head start on this because I used to edit photos. Like when I was using social media, Instagram, like as a consumer purely, I used to be in like a community of people that posted tricked out photos. So I know a lot about apps. Like this, like a community of people where when you ask them what app did they use to make this photo, they won't even tell you, because that's like the app is how you like, that's like the reason why your photo's cool, you know? I use hyperlapse to make time lapses to post to Instagram for story and for the feed. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that Instagram owns hyperlapse. And when you post a hyperlapse video on Instagram, it actually says taken with hyperlapse under the video, like in a part where you could never write anything. And I guarantee you that the algorithm is like over indexing that clip because it was made with one of their products. So they want more Instagram users to see that clip because it was made with one of their other products, and they want you to use that other product as well. So you get a little bit of bump engagement by using hyperlapse. I use Frame Magic to frame photos, like when you put multiple photos in one picture. I use Square Ready. There's a video version and a picture version. I think also InstaSize is the same thing. I use to layer photos. I use an app called Superimpose, which is really great because not only does it let you layer photos together, it has a magic erase tool. So I could take a picture of myself on a white wall, and then I can download a picture of like some fiery hell, and then I can put myself in front of it and be like, guys, I messed up, or like whatever. Let's see, there's one app that I recently started using that actually haven't even used it yet, but I'm gonna use it. It's called InShot. This app is awesome because it's how people, Gary Vee posts a lot of clips using apps like this or whatever. They probably make it on the computer, but it's like it lets you write and put emojis and words above and around a video clip. So you load a video clip into it, which is rectangular or whatever, and then you move it into the square, like to the bottom or in the middle, and then you can put words like around it, on the top, on the bottom, and that looks really engaging from your story feed on Instagram. Like that's one tip that I would give people, is that like pay attention to how your wall looks on Instagram, because a lot of people, when they might stumble on your post, but the first thing they're going to do if they like your post is they're going to click on your name and they're going to go look at your feed and they're going to scroll through it. So what does your feed look like? Is that going to entice that person to subscribe to your Instagram or to follow you or whatever? So, post stuff that has white around the edges once in a while just to break up your feed, because too much clutter, the white draws the eye to different areas. It's just go look at people like Gary Vee, other people who are successful on social media. Just look at what they're doing and then copy them in your own way. If it's working for them, it's probably going to work for you. Just apply your own creativity to it. Let's see.
Yeah, my friend, look at my friend's Instagram. If you can see it, she knows a lot about this stuff, but she puts like a white border around every single one of her photos.
That stands out like crazy. That looks really good.
Yeah.
That looks super good. Let me see if we have a few more Instagram questions and we'll go over to the chat. Oh, someone says my link tree is down. Bummer. If you guys don't have link tree on Instagram, you played yourself. Let's see. I got one more question and then we'll head over to the YouTube. Watch Me FBA says, where's my interview, Reezy? Soon come, bro. Soon come. Flip Stitch wants to know, what drives more traffic to your business, Instagram or YouTube, or is it really the combination of the two?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the details on that, to be honest with you. So I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Secondhand Thrift Treasures wants to know, is there a States crates for males?
No, there's not, because I just don't get enough men's stuff, and I don't know about men's stuff enough. And I have my hands full with women's right now. So right now, women's, we even cut out plus sizes for the time being, just because we need to be able to fulfill all of our orders.
That makes sense. All right, let's go over to the YouTube questions. If you guys have questions on YouTube, please put them in the chat. Please smash the like button if you're watching right now. I can see there's 113 people watching, and there's only 71 likes. So there's like, whatever that is, 30, 44, 45 of you guys haven't pressed the like button, probably more of you. So please do me a favor and go smash that like button real quick. And let's go over to these questions. Sean Saunders says, question, this is for both of you. Do you invest in any type of cryptocurrency? So me personally, I don't have any holdings in any cryptocurrency. I had 10 Bitcoins when it was $300 a coin, and I sold them all when it hit $650. and I was super stoked about myself. Right after that, it crashed all the way back down to 300, so I felt even more stoked about myself. But now that it's worth $5,000 a coin, I'm definitely not stoked about myself. Nicole?
No, I don't.
I don't know enough about cryptocurrency. I really wish I did. I promise you guys I will get someone who knows a lot about cryptocurrency on the show to educate us both, us all, about cryptocurrency, because my spider sense is tingling. I feel like how I felt about the internet, how about cryptocurrency, and I fully feel like I'm missing the boat. I could probably name less than 5 cryptocurrencies off the
What
top of my head, and I need help.
do you remember what was it, like Kick? Do you remember that Kick app where you could like message people?
Kick Messenger, yes.
Yeah, they just did a cryptocurrency. Did you know that? They like, I just listened to this whole podcast
They
about
just
it.
did an ICO and they have crypto now.
Yeah, I think so. I listened to a podcast about it, but I'm really interested in it. I've been watching the last month. I've gotten more interested, which means that I will probably start investing in it. I just like to know everything that I can. I've been watching documentaries and doing research because I do think I think I do need to be invested in it. I just, again, don't know enough about it.
Right. Same. Total same. Flipty Flip says, when you create a listing, do you choose accept returns and do you charge? Wait, that's not a question. They're just answering someone else's question. Flipty Flip says, question, did you check the small and light program on Amazon? I did not check that out. I've been super busy just doing what I'm doing. So let's see. Aitor Ferreira says, when are you going to do a meetup in Europe? Thanks for your content. I don't know, man. I'll make it out there sometime. You should have came to London, bro. You had a chance. You blew it.
You had a chance.
Brian, the Oakbrook Picker, the Oakbrook Nose Picker.
I love him.
Says, buy Apple stock. Yeah, I feel like Tesla and Apple stock is like some stuff, along with Amazon, is some stuff I'm really comfortable with. Wiley G says, question, I sold 2 vinyl records to the same international buyer located in Finland. The buyer asked that I provide 1 invoice and ship both LPs in the same packaging. What's the question? That's kind of more like a statement. What do you think his question is?
I think he's saying, should he do that? It depends on how they bought it. Did they buy it through, if it was on eBay, did they buy it through the global shipping program? If they bought it through global shipping, then no, you can't do that. You'd have to cancel the orders and redo it. If they didn't buy it through global shipping, then yeah, you can combine those orders on your own.
Jay Diaz says, Nicole, did you sell the Disney toys that were purchased a couple of months ago in Disneyland?
I didn't buy any. I bought a lot of Disney toys for my kids, but I didn't buy any toys for reselling. I bought some cups and some other things, and those are all gone.
Yeah, I wonder what they're talking about.
You bought a bunch of toys at Disneyland.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff. Half of it has sold. Half of it has not sold. It's just sitting in my storage right now. I need to get on it. Let's see. To be reinvest in your own business. How long do you wait for payment?
So if I require immediate payment on any buy it now, but if I accepted an offer, I have a lot of people don't like this. They think it's way too long, but I actually have 7 days before I automatically open a case, and I have it all set up automatically. I literally do not even think about it because that's too much time. I don't have time to worry about other people. So it's all set up automatically. If they don't pay, a case gets opened, eBay closes it, and then the item gets relisted. People worry way too much about getting payment for an item. If they don't pay, somebody else will.
Wow. Sorry, I got distracted. I had to Google the Bitcoin price because someone made a comment, and it's actually at 5,600 right now. It was literally less than 3,500, like not even a week ago. That is
so sad right now.
Ridiculous. I'm so sad, guys.
Oh, they're talking about all those. Those weren't toys. Well, I guess they were. They were like figures. I sold a lot of them, and Dez actually claimed like half a set for his room. So I basically broke even on them. I didn't make like a ton of money or anything. I really wanted to make a cool video, and I did. But yeah, I like broke even on it.
Nice. So Ator wanted to know if you sell on eBay Europe.
I sell through the global shipping program, but
So not other than that. Also, if anyone wants to call in, we'll take like 1 or 2 call-ins. The number is 209-83 Reezy, and it would be cool to get a call-in for Nicole to answer on the show, since we haven't actually had a call-in while I was doing a dual person show. Let's see. Flipty Flip says, Nicole, can you explain to Megan Flavius how to enable restocking fee on eBay, and do you use it also?
no, I don't. Look, I want to give my buyer the best customer service that I can. I want them to stay on eBay. I don't really believe in a restocking fee. And again, this is just my method of selling. Like, a lot of people use it. A lot of people like it. I don't like it. I feel like I did try it for a brief period of time. I got way more items not as described. And I just want to give my customer a good buying experience. You know, so many people don't shop on eBay, they shop on Amazon. So I try and model their business, you know, like I offer 60-day free returns to where I pay for that buyer to send it back to me. If it's a low dollar item, I might just even give them a refund. Say, just give it to someone who needs it. I want to do everything that I can to keep my customer on the platform. And I know that there's customers out there who've gotten charged a restocking fee and been like, oh, I'm not going to shop on eBay anymore. I'll go over to Amazon where they're not going to charge me that.
Yep, that's a really great mentality to have. And I think you answered. Sean Sanders had another question, is that what happens when you sell something new, but then the buyer opens it and returns it? Now you have to sell it as used, and I'm assuming, yeah, you do have to sell it. I mean, it's not new anymore, so that's what you have to do, right?
You can, here's the thing about this. So on eBay, it's your word against the buyer. So if they send it back and it's used, technically you should be able to call up eBay and be like, yo, this was used. I don't want to refund them. You can also, I'm in like a beta program to where I can like choose to partially refund them. There's like a bunch of different ways on eBay. But at the end of the day, most of the time, this is what I do. So I have a stack of returns right here that I just got today. I haven't even opened these, and I refunded my customer already, because it doesn't matter what the item looks like inside. eBay's probably going to side with them, and I'm going to have to return. I'm going to have to give them their money back. So
right. At least like they returned it, right? So your only hope was like that, like, oh, they want a refund, but they didn't return it. So like if they follow through with the refund, like, I think the good thing to know is that like most people aren't malicious, and they're not out here like trying to take advantage of people. And this goes into the next question, which is, how do you stop people from, using your store as a rental store or whatever? And I think it's just that most people aren't out to do that kind of thing. Hold on, we got a call in, Nicole.
Ooh.
Welcome to Reezy Talks. Who's this?
What's up, Reezy? It's Daniel.
How's it going, Daniel?
Good, man. How are you? I actually have a question for Nicole, because you said.
Yeah, let's do it. Can you hear this, Nicole?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, let's do it.
She can hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you think that it is a good idea to stick to a certain niche when you first start out on eBay? Like, let's say, Prof Sales does jeans, or certain people just do, dress clothes. Like, would you say it's a better idea to stick to one niche, or branch out and just kind of experiment with what you think works, or find what works best for you when you're first starting out?
When you're first starting out, you should just sell things that you already own. And once you've gotten past that point, you've probably sold in a few different, everyone has probably, honestly, 50 things in their house that they don't want anymore. Once you've gotten past that point, you'll probably have sold in a few different categories, and you'll get a feel for what you like and what you're good at. I just suggest selling what you like, because then you're actually going to get it listed. Then you're actually going to be interested in it. So you're going to retain the knowledge. Once you're, if you look it up, you're going to retain that knowledge because it's interesting to you. And so I don't necessarily think you need to be in a niche. You just need to be selling things that you like to sell and that you enjoy, because that way you can hold it and retain that information better.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Like, It's why, you know, you see some people, they tend towards like retro or video games or whatever. Obviously, they know about that stuff, right? And like to modify Nicole's answer a little bit is like you might, based on what, you know, you might like video games, but there's not a lot of video games near you. What there is a lot of women's clothing. So in that situation, you might want to learn women's clothing. But for the most part, I think Nicole's advice is pretty solid. Like you should specialize in, at least until you feel like you got something down so well that you could specialize in something else, because it's really hard to be a jack to, you know, a jack of all trades, you know, master of none or whatever.
Yeah. But the more you know, the more, you know, you'll be
I
able
figured
to.
it was a good idea to just, like, you know, stick to one thing. That's how I was. Like, I've been doing books for a while, and I kind of got it down where I can, like, automate it, like, to myself. Like, in my head, I don't, like, think as much about it. I just kind of run on it. So I kind of want to branch out. So
Yeah, branch out, dude. Try one thing at a time. If you don't like it or you're not finding success, try a different category. I mean, you can always, it's important to be like a thrift army knife, right? Because you're already in the thrift stores. So the more things you know about, the less likely it is. I know I should make a shirt for that. The less likely less likely it is that you're gonna leave the store empty-handed, because like, okay, there was no books. Let me go look at the men's shoes. All right, there's no shoes. Let me go look at the glassware section. Let me look at the cups. Okay, there was no like Garfield silkscreen cups. Let's go look at the plates. You know, is there any like Corel plates? Okay, there's none of that. Let's go look at the pottery. You know, is there any kind of, you're flipping it over, looking at the markings? You know, like, okay, there was none of those. Let's go look at the electronics. Is there any VHS DVD players? Like different.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you might even be able to pull a couch out of the thrift for like $50 and sell it on Craigslist for like 150. You never know what you're gonna find. But
I mean, yeah, and people think that I only know about clothes,
too,
but
where I'm kinda, like, sometimes I go and I find like maybe like 5 books, and I'm like, I need to look for other things and not waste my time / gas and all that. So, and plus what you said, you were like, oh yeah, I did Amazon for so long,
right.
where like you were like, man, I wish I had branched out to other things.
Yeah, I really wish I would have.
So long.
Yeah, I did just books forever, so I wish I would have moved into shoes and electronics and other stuff way earlier. Like, look, man, I had like $100,000 in my bank account and no debt, like less than 3 years into books on Amazon, and this was 10 years ago. So imagine like if I wanted to do wholesale or private label 10 years ago, I could have been killing it. There was like, I probably could have made a bunch on like a lemon squeezer, you know, like, so it's, you know, it's all like forethought or whatever, hindsight, but you definitely want to know about more stuff. And also with the note on that is I'm jealous of, I came from eBay, went to Amazon, totally ditched eBay, my first love. And now like eBay is hard for me and I'm getting back into the trenches. But the reason is because I really love the hunt. Like when you find different stuff, you know, books are just books. It's like, cool, that's $100 book. That gets me excited, but it's not like anything I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to do a haul video for books to like show you guys what I'm not excited about. Like I'm excited about like the 1950s toaster that I found or whatever that's going to sell for like $60, like whatever, all these, you know, you feel like an archaeologist or whatever. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's more engaging. You're not like freaking bending down and like breaking your back trying to look for books and crap,
right?
You know,
and
being bored is just a cover. It's the same.
So
thing
like when I
over
see people like Wade's Ventures, who's killing it on eBay, and now he's getting into Amazon, I'm kind of like low key jealous because I'm like, man, you got it. Like because it's hard for me to get back into eBay once jumping off the horse. You know, I wish I would have never jumped off the horse. I should like done the splits like Jean-Claude Van Damme and rode 2 horses at once.
Yeah,
well,
and that's why it's good
like,
kind of like we have people like you that we can watch and kind of, you know, guide us along so we don't make those same errors where we're like, oh, we can cut off 3-4 years of our time and not bullshit around. And like,
oh yeah, man,
it's like a learning curve. We cut the learning curve.
People people ask me all the time, like, what books did you read? And I was like, dude, YouTube didn't exist when I started reselling. Like, the iPhone wasn't even out. Like, all I did was make every mistake possible. And then after that, you know what I mean? I knew what not to do or whatever. What What was your name
Yeah.
again? Daniel, right?
Yeah, Daniel.
Dude, super thank you for calling in, man. I hope we were able to answer your question for you.
Yep, definitely. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a great night, Daniel.
You too.
Okay, I really want to add just like one thing.
Go
here.
ahead. I know we interrupted you like 5 times.
It's cool. I liked it. I interrupt like all the time. So the one
Taste of
thing
your
to
own
add
medicine.
is that like I need to love what I'm doing. Like I know a lot about everything in the thrift store. But the thing is, like, I don't love selling those things. And if I don't love it, then I don't want to sell it because I feel like I might as well go back to working for somebody else. Like, I want to love what I'm doing. I want to enjoy the products that I'm selling. And at some point, you need to factor that in. I feel like that's why I'm able to get so much done in my day is because I really like it, you know?
Right. Also, Thriftologist made a good point, who is also an admin on the comments for the channel. Thank you so much to all the admins. If you guys see someone in the comments and they have that little mechanic wrench next to their name, that means they're an admin, and it means they will kick you out for being improper. But mostly it just means they're really rad and they're helping me out. So probably also someone you could link up with and network with. But his comment was also, he said, eBay is seller friendly as well, which is a huge plus because let me tell you guys, I sell on Amazon, and you know who I have to sell against and compete against? Amazon, right? So like, not only do they sell new stuff, and that drives the price, right? And they can get things at better prices than we can. So if they drop the price, I might suddenly have 20 of an item where I can't even make money selling it. I have to wait till Amazon sells out so that I can sell mine at a profitable price or dump it and re-roll the dice. But also they own a company called Warehouse Deals, which sells used items, which is basically customer returns and damaged inventory. So we're competing against them as used sellers. And if you sell shoes, well, guess what? They also own Zappos, and Zappos sells on Amazon. So you're competing against them. And guess what? They have about 10 or 15 private label clothing brands that are like secret that people don't know about that you could Google. I should probably make a video about this topic in itself. And you're competing against them if you're selling clothing. And they also have Amazon Basics, which makes all the private label stuff. I'm sure most people watching has purchased something from Amazon Basics.
What about Whole Foods? I went to Whole Foods today. Amazon
owns Whole Foods, and they're going to be selling the Whole Foods products on, or already are on Amazon. So it's very predatory in being on Amazon. It's almost like on Amazon, they don't care about the sellers. The sellers are just purely collecting data for them. And then Amazon analyzes the data and they're like, oh, let's look at this. Reezy's selling a crap load of green spatulas. We better make a green spatula and sell that. So then they do, and then I lose all my traffic. And essentially I just did the research for them. And it's like, if you do wholesale or private label and you go to these different conferences where you can meet manufacturers or wholesalers, guess who's there standing right behind you in line? Amazon employees doing the same research you're doing. So Amazon is like a pack of velociraptors. You might not see them all the time, but they're stalking you from the left, from the right. They're coming at you. And eBay is like really friendly. I feel like, they're giving their sellers hugs. Like they have like motivational seller conferences. Like Amazon does not have these conferences.
Okay, check it though. Like we need to stop for a second. Because I'm like number one eBay. eBay came to my house. How many Amazon sellers, like how many times does Amazon go out to sellers' houses and like do videos, right?
Never.
Here's the thing, and Brian has it right. I wasn't going to bring this up, but eBay is trying to get brands on their site at this point. And it's very true. They want new items and they want them on their site and they want to be viewed as a marketplace that is a competition for Amazon.
Right.
And so I think that there is, and I feel like a little insider thing is like, I feel like the eBay is going in a direction that we might not all be prepared for,
But yeah, that's also, you got to diversify yourself.
And that is why, like, I think it's super important to always diversify and always be aware that, like, just because they run things one way doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. But yeah, eBay is like for the most part user friendly, and they love us. They love their sellers, and they want more sellers on the platform. But they also want a certain type of seller, like to be realistic and to be honest.
Yeah, they do. They don't want just like people who just sell a little bit here and there. You know, they want people that are making a full-time income and are taking it seriously. They want people who refund their customers without opening the returns.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be, it's important to keep people. This is what people don't get. You need to keep people on the platform. Our job as sellers is to retain customers. And
Right.
if you are not retaining customers by treating them right, you're doing it wrong and you're hurting everybody.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest amateur mistakes I see from merchant fulfilled Amazon sellers and eBay sellers is that people get married to their sales, and then when they have to return an item, they're like, well, I sold that dress for $90 and now they're going to return it and it's used or it has a stain or like whatever. Get over yourself. You lost $12. Who gives a crap? It's $12. Charge it to the game and continue onward, because you know what could happen if you try and like resolve that like through official channels? You could get your account closed down over the dumbest thing. Like, this is another thing that I've noticed is that selling on eBay and selling on Amazon, they have one thing in common, or a couple things. You can make money on the platform, and two, the more money you can make while getting the company involved, less involved, the better you are. So if you made $1 million and you never had to message eBay or never had to call them or anything, they will love you because that didn't cost them any money to manage you, and you probably didn't cause them to lose any customers either, because like, let's be real, they're eBay's customers. I mean, they're your customers and you get some of their information, but really they're eBay's customers or they're Amazon's customers. And it's like, at least on Amazon, I know they weight your account by like, how much money do you cost them? Like, if you make them $1 million, but you take 2 hours of their time on the phone every day, they're not going to be very happy with that, you know? So your goal should be make money, keep your customers happy, and don't have any interaction at all with the company. Just like painless for them.
You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, like, and this is another reason why I hate when people are like, you need to break down your sales item by item. It's like, well, what about my returns for the month? And like, what over, like, all of this adds up. And this is why you have to don't look at sell by sell. You're going to drive yourself crazy. Look at the big picture, right?
Exactly. The big picture is the super important picture. Let's see. Oh, here's a great question. Flippy Flip says, I have a complete police officer uniform, obviously no gun. Can I sell it on eBay? Do you know, Nicole, or no?
I think it's a no.
Yeah, I think it's a no also. And here's what I'll tell you why is I had a police uniform that I found at the bins, and I let my buddy wear it as a Halloween costume. And he was like, dude, I almost went to jail last night. He called me the morning after Halloween. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you know, I was all toasted up in the middle of downtown. And of course, there's a lot of police downtown where I live on Halloween. Like, they bring stadium lights up and they light the street up because the main street gets blocked off and there's just drunkards everywhere. It's totally not like official city sanctioned, but it just happens every year. And there's police everywhere. And he was like, yo, I got bum rushed. They covered up the patches on my jacket when they bum rushed me. They asked me where I got it from and like all these questions, and they made him take it off right then and there. They were like, we can take you to jail or you can take the police uniform off. And I was like, damn, dude.
I think the reason why, I believe back in the day, like maybe 80s or 90s, there was a serial killer who was using a uniform. I don't remember what uniform. It could have been like a postal worker or police or something like that. And they were like knocking on people's doors, and you know, you trust someone if they're in that uniform. People were opening up the doors and getting murdered. So like, it's like a real safety concern, you know?
Yeah, Zen Flips says that's a felony, impersonating an officer.
Yeah.
Damn, here's my homie thinking he's just got the sickest police officer costume ever. He even went and got like some silver aviators and everything. Like,
no.
He even had like a pair of fake handcuffs, and he was out here like arresting girls at the bar. Like, let me arrest you, honey. Like,
wow.
Oh man. And then he went downtown and got jacked. Follow the hustle straight to jail. Yeah, don't do that, guys. I should make a video for that one too. I almost got someone arrested.
Yeah.
Story time with Reezy. I almost got someone arrested. Shout out to Rally Roots, who actually almost got arrested for selling some stolen merchandise on Craigslist.
Oh yeah, that video. We were just talking about that video and how funny it was the other day.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has like 500,000 views on that video.
Good for him. I love that
Freaking
channel.
baller. No, I love both of those guys. They're hilarious. And Ryan edits good videos too. So
Oh, I'm so jealous. I got a new camera. I'm so excited.
dude, I'm hyped that you got a camera. I'm gonna have to spend like a little while on messages helping you figure out how to use it.
I know, look at I also bought this thing.
Oh, nice. You're killing it. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to, I know Joe saw it and was like, oh, you got like a Reezy handle.
Yeah, Reezy handle. For people that are listening and not videoing, what Nicole just showed was a Joby Gorilla Pod, similar to what Casey Neistat uses and I use, because obviously I copied Casey Neistat. But what's so funny is that you could have a camera and be vlogging, and then people will be like, oh, he's vlogging, whatever. But when you put it on that thing, people think you're hella official. Just like, dude, look at that guy. He's a YouTuber. Like,
no, remember at Disney, we went to Disneyland together, and that kid came up to you and was like, oh, you're a YouTuber. And he like wanted to be, he was like hyped on you.
Was that the kid that had the spectacles?
I think so, yeah.
That was in our YouTube video. That was so cool.
That guy was awesome.
I'm starting a new edit for a new video, and I think I might either gonna do the reseller rally, which is like, hey, 6 months later I'll get the video done, or the video from when we went to Disneyland.
Ooh, people should vote in the comments or in the chat. Which one do you want to see?
Yeah, which video should I do next, guys? Disneyland with the StatesPlace or the reseller rally? I'm sure they're gonna say the reseller rally. Not everyone's a Disney head like we are.
I know.
So someone wants to say, what are your thoughts on selling cheaper items, things that will only return $3 to $4 profit?
I think you have to weigh how many you can list in a day. You know, I do that all day long, and I make decent money at it. But I can list a lot more than most people in a day.
Yep, that makes sense too. It depends
on how much you paid for it. So like, I'm not going to pay $50 and make $3. I might pay a quarter and make $3, but I'm not going to, you know, depends. ROI is important.
Yeah, I figured people were going to say the rally. They seem to be saying the rally. Hey guys, real quick, if you're watching this, please smash the like button. I really appreciate it. If you want to do me a double solid, press the share button and share it out to your social media channel so that other people can follow the hustle. Everyone should follow the hustle.
Why don't I sell on Amazon? People keep asking me that. Because I don't have enough time in my day, and I block my time out pretty well. And I don't love it. And I really, I don't do things that I don't enjoy at this point in my life, because I might as well just go back to corporate world. I don't like selling on Amazon. It's not the platform for me. And so for me, I like eBay. I like the State Crate thing I have going on. I like doing social media, and that's where I want to spend my time.
Right. Definitely. Same thing with me too. I spend a lot of time doing social media, and it definitely affects my business. Like, our business didn't grow. We did 833,000 last year. I had to come to terms with, sadly, this year we're not going to break 1 million. We're probably going to do like 860,000. And a lot of the reason with that is because my attention isn't so focused on the business. It's focused on social media. I mean, there's other things that come into play also, but because of me doing social media, I didn't have the time to adjust to them properly and seek out other solutions. I mean, I am researching merch. Like, I sold over $50 in profit of t-shirts today, which is pretty cool. If I could do that every day, that's $1,500 a month profit, which is pretty great. I have 280 shirts listed. I'm hoping to have, 1,000 shirts listed within a few months. So that's a great secondary revenue stream. It's something I am pursuing, like, as far as adjusting to things that are changing in the business world. Mostly what happened was we used to have a bins where I lived, and they moved an hour away. And the most importantly is not the hour away, but they changed the pricing structure from $6 for a bag of books to $1 per pound of books, which means that I can't buy very many books because it's just not profitable anymore. So I had to decide, do I want to buy Gaylords and do bulk books and get a warehouse and manage employees, or should I pursue other things that are less demanding of my time? Because I do have Luna 5 days a week. My wife's going to college. We're doing homeschool, etc. And so I had to, like, it's like when I broke my foot 3 years ago and I had to start hiring employees or whatever. I had to figure out something new. And also, just to like wrap that whole idea up, is that yes, I do invest time into my personal brand because I see a lot of potential for that in the future. Like, I want to be a mainstream YouTuber. I want to travel and do public speaking. And I think I'm good at that. And those things are opportunities that I have that if I don't capitalize right now on this ability to, you know, become known or whatever through social media, that I won't have it. So I believe I'm doing the right thing, even though I'm taking a hit on the short term as far as like business growth. But it's going to work out. I know it will. So we've been going for like 2 hours already, Nicole. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah, I gotta get my Delilah to bed. She's over here like going wild at this point.
Okay, so let's go real quick. I have 2 questions for you before we close it down. Number 1 is, who do you want me to interview on the show next? Anybody. I can get anybody. Anybody in the whole world.
Oh, anybody in the whole world? Not like
no. Just semi-realistic. Like, I got Watch Me Amazon coming on next week. So guys, make sure to tune in next Monday because that's going to be a killer one. We're going to talk about wholesale and I think that you what it's like to be 6'18".
Oh God, I think you should interview Tony, my old boss, because that's like the brick and mortar side of it, and that's super interesting.
Nice, awesome. That's a great one. So I'm writing that down. Last week, Monica suggested Amazing Taste Store. So I have that written down on the list as well. If you guys are watching this, and I would like to know who you want me to interview on the show as well, just put their name in the comments. And before you write their name in the comments, don't do it on the live show. Do it after the video is posted. But before you write it, read the other ones that other people have posted and thumbs up the one that is like one you would like to see as well. That way I can clearly see by like who has the most thumbs up, who I should focus on getting on the show. And the next thing, Nicole, is at the end of the show, I'm pretty much just ripping Gary Vee off on this one, but I want you to ask a question to the audience, and then they will leave their answers in the comments, and then you can like come back and engage with them. So what is your question for the audience?
Oh, this is hard.
Got you.
Okay, I want to know, what is the one biggest takeaway you got from me and Reezy hanging out tonight?
Awesome. That's a great question. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Reezy Talks. I hope to have you guys back next Monday at 6 p.m. I think I might even start doing a midweek show because I'm starting to find out that some people I contact are not available for Mondays or for this time slot on Mondays. So I might do like a Wednesday night show or a Thursday night show. With that being said, you know what we say, Nicole, right? If you ain't flipping,
you slipping.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.